with the trippe, they would grind, oh gosh, I'd say 18 to 20 pounds of pork. Some people might put beef, but very, very few. Tried to get half lean pork and half fat pork. And then about 15 pounds of cabbage they boiled. They squeezed and ground, of course, the same thing with the cabbage, squeezed it. And 3 pounds of onions, about, I don't know how many onions that is, about 3/4 to 1 cup of salt, and that was to taste, 3 tablespoons of pepper. And they also put, which is, people are very surprised, cloves. Cloves were put in the trippe. And they shook that all over, and then the main thing was definitely to mix it. And they also included nutmeg, and they had the casings. But before we talk about the casings, the women made the trippe with their hands. They mixed it with their hands. It had to be mixed really well. Didn't have mix masters. So their hands, they felt that was the best way to mix it. Once it was mixed, then they had the casings, which were intestines of the pig's intestines, or I think it was pig's intestines. And then they would put the meat in a meat grinder, and on the end of the meat grinder, they had like a tube that went into the casing, and they would pressure it into that, and then it slid into there, so you had a long, long casing full of the trippe meat. And after so many, I don't know how long, I'd say maybe 6 feet of trippe, they would stop, and then they would twist so that the trippe wasn't all together. They'd make them singles. So they twist it this way every probably 5 inches till they probably had 20 or 25 trippe. And they would do that until all the meat was gone.